This evening, we have some fallout that continues after a massive college basketball rigging scheme left people facing charges this week, two of which have ties to teams here in our state. Several people are charged with bribery and wire fraud, accused of recruiting players to purposefully change the outcome in the favor of fixers. And now it is shedding some new light on what it could mean for sports betting as a whole. However, sports betting is illegal here in the state of Alabama.
But as WVTM 13's Bryce Oslin found out, it's not stopping people from placing bets. He shares how that process could also change because of this investigation.
Whether they legalize it in Alabama or not, I think people who want to do sports betting are finding ways to do sports betting.
Sports betting is illegal in Alabama, but fans do what they can to place bets.
You can go to other states, you can go to other places, you can have all kinds of things that you can do to get a sports betting kind of thing going.
As the NBA season tips off, his career is already benched, not for injury, but for integrity.
Multiple athletes have been put under investigation for cheating during games. Owner of On Tap Sports Cafe, Todd Beagle, says the incidents won't affect the way people place their bets.
I don't want to be in a situation where they're throwing a flag or someone's missing a shot, and then I'm like, well, I bet that money. I think those are the biggest things that people are concerned about. And I think for the most part, you see I think that they have some type of handle on stuff like that.
More than 30 states allow sports betting. Professor Dr. Stephen Hill expects fans to lose interest with betting as more athletes get exposed.
Paying a player, $500 to miss a penalty kick, for example, in a soccer game, or to throw a basketball game. Those types of things can be really lucrative for people who are into betting and into that scene. So I think we're going to start to see fans really having some skepticism maybe about the competitiveness and the quality of the outcomes of games.
Beagle says regardless of investigations, because of how popular sports betting has become, state and local businesses could benefit by legalizing it.
I'm not for or against it. Well, because there's so many other states that have it, and you know that people are doing it, you don't like that money leaving your state. When we talk about problems here, if you're already doing it, why not keep that money in state?
In Vestavia Hills, Bryce Oslin, WVTM 13.
Now, as of right now, we are not aware of any changes. We'll keep you updated.